everyone, Jill from the Cozy Company here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to attach a new skein of yarn. And while this isn't necessarily a troubleshooting problem, it is something that you're going to be teaching each and every person at the workshop. And you'll be doing it at different times because people will be approaching this part of their blanket at different times. So it's definitely something that you should understand and you should know what the options are. Typically at workshops, I like to provide two options. I typically do my workshops at breweries, wineries, venues that don't belong to me. So I don't typically introduce the burn method or the sewing method just because of liability issues, fire, needles, whatnot. So I like to keep it simple. When my attendees run out of yarn, I provide two ways. I tell them that it is the same exact way, one's just a little bit more aesthetically pleasing within your blanket, it's a little bit more hidden, etc. So first option is just the tie method. So this is your new ball of yarn, this is your blanket yarn, and you're simply just going to tie a knot using a square knot. So make an X, loop it around, and then knot. And then we will cut off the excess pieces. Now I always make sure to tell them that there's absolutely nothing wrong with this method, it does just fine, but you will probably see the knot within your blanket, and that's because it's chunky yarn. Chunky yarn equals chunky knot. The option that I like to drive people towards because they leave with a more satisfying blanket is the cutting method. So I always demonstrate for them if they'd like me to. Always ask before you touch their project if you can show them, if you can touch it, etc. You don't want them to feel like you're overtaking their project. But I will say, this is an option, can I show you on your blanket? And most times everyone will say yes. I grab the blanket yarn and I take scissors and I hold it towards me like this so it's vertical, and I just cut up one side a few inches up. And I tell them that once you do that, you can see the core of the yarn. It's a different texture than the fuzz of the yarn on the outside. So you just want to cut along that core and cut off all that fuzz to make almost like a rat tail. And you always want to hold it vertically and cut away from you. Just like that. And then I will do the same thing for them on their new skein of yarn. So now I have two skinny tails. And I tell them that we're just going to tie it together the same exact way. We'll make an X, loop it around, and then we're going to pull until the two fluffy parts meet, and then we're just going to tie it off. I always like to tie one end like this, and then I flip it around to tie the second end, so that way there's no chance of there being a chunky knot in their blanket. And then we just cut off the tails and continue on like normal. So it's always good to give them the option, but just let them know that this option hides a little bit better in their blanket. And if they do this option, always make sure to bring little plastic cups to put all of the fluffies in when they are cutting their yarn, or else they're going to get all over the tables, all over the floor, etc., thus making the cleanup for you a lot more. Again, you're more than welcome to show them the burn method or the sewing method. Just know that if it is at a venue such as a brewery, winery, a cafe, anything like that, a venue that does not belong to you, just be aware of the possibility of some liabilities with fire / sharp needles. Just something to take in consideration.